Dal, did I ever do my my impression of the BBC Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe's Lucy for you?
I need you to do that because I grew up watching the BBC version of that with my family, like regularly.
This poor little girl. She's so young, and
Edmund.
She had the same thing that I had, where her front teeth, her like adult front teeth, grew in before anything else. So she just had these giant front teeth, and she's so small. So she'd be like, Edmund, oh, it's Aslan. Mr. Tumnus, Mr. Tumnus.
Oh my God.
I hope she grew into him. I'm sure she did. Hey everybody, welcome to the JRPG Pursuit, your JRPG podcast for all things JRPGs. I'm Branden.
Oh, wait. Never
I was like, wait, I should probably remind Dalla.
Without fail.
Branden started.
1 year. Happy 1 year. I'm doing this every week.
We need to keep this in. For anniversary's sake.
For the sake of the anniversary. You all get to hear
without fail.
You get to see how the sausage gets made. This is our sausage
every time process. I always forget where I sit.
I usually have to remind him I forgot to do that.
Yeah. I need Emily there to make sure that I know what I'm doing half the time. Without fail. Oh my God, this is too
Anyway,
good.
I'm Branden, so you're
I'm Abdallah.
Yes, he is.
And I'm Emily.
Yes, she is. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Excuse me, like I just alluded to, this is we've been doing this for a year now. This will be our 52nd episode, meaning we've had 52 uninterrupted weeks of producing the JRPG Pursuit. And you guys have all been fantastic, especially thanks to our members who have been supporting us. We opened the memberships like 6 months ago, like halfway into
January
the year.
1st.
Yep, January 1st. Okay, so thank you all, especially for supporting the show. We really appreciate you. And you making this a lot more fun. So thanks.
Yeah.
And so because this is like our anniversary episode, we did want to spend some time, I guess maybe at the end, kind of talking about the past year and some of our favorite moments, favorite episodes, and things of that nature. Yeah.
I don't learn along the way as well.
We don't want to delay our main topic too much, which is short JRPGs. Now, JRPGs nowadays especially are these monstrous things, right? 80, 90, 100 plus hours. And for a lot of people, that's great. The longer, the better. Give me more content. I'm going to do all the side quests. I'm going to platinum that mother, it's going to be fantastic. For some of us, though, especially me, I get so tired, I get so tired with these long games, and I want to experience more. So if I can have a great, short, really solid JRPG experience, that's great for me. So we wanted to spend a little time talking about some of our favorite short JRPGs, and also kind of in general why we might want to play a short JRPG every now and then. So I guess to kick it off, let's talk about why you would even want to play a short JRPG. Like, what are the benefits compared to a longer JRPG?
Yeah, I guess I'll start off, maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
But
take it away.
I personally prefer shorter RPGs in between my longer RPGs because they help, I think, reduce burnout in a way, because you feel like, you're kind of getting through your backlog at least one step at a time. And there's, you have to celebrate the little wins when you finally beat an RPG.
Right.
And a short RPGs, I think, the perfect sort of antidote for that.
Yeah. When I recently, the most recent time that I replayed through the whole Trail series, because I'm a sicko, this is like the 6th time or something ridiculous.
Wild.
I played them all in succession, but I did throw in a few shorter games in between, like the arcs, especially to, like you said, kind of break it up, give yourself a breather, create a little space between, little palate cleanser. Oh, yeah. You got to have that space between giant games. What about you, Dalla?
No, I mean, I'm technically doing that right now. In between some of the bigger games I've just finished, throwing in a little bit of I don't want to like jump the gun on some names, but I've been playing, a little bit more older games that are probably you can finish in about 10 or 15 hours or something like that. Just to kind of give me something to take off the backlog and also just, take a break a little bit.
Sometimes it's nice to do a non-RPG to do that, but sometimes you're still in an RPG mood and you want to just play a shorter experience.
Yeah, exactly. So
I like a shorter JRPG if it's done well. It typically means that it's going to be paced really well. It's going to have a really tight structure and really tight pacing.
And less bloat.
Yeah, and that's why like they're great for palate cleansing, but also, I can play multiple short JRPGs back to back because I'm getting a complete story out of the experience, right? I'm probably enjoying the gameplay too, but like from a story perspective, I'm getting the complete story and I'm finishing the game. I'm rolling credits, and that feels good on its own. But then I've had that experience, and then I can jump into another one, and I can have a completely different experience. So like something like a Chrono Trigger, for example, which is on my list certainly as one of the best short JRPGs. You can finish a single playthrough of that and. I mean, technically, probably in less than 20 hours, right?
Yeah.
18 19
if
hours.
you know what you're doing.
DS, I want to say it was 20-ish hours.
Yeah. So, like, and especially that was your first time through the game. So,
I was using a guide, too, just to, help along my experience. So I'm not too fumbling about which timeline I need to go to.
Yeah. And you're not missing any of the stuff because there's a lot of optional stuff at the end of that game. It manages to, that's the nice thing about Chrono Trigger is it manages to take some of those sorts of things that you see in other games, like optional content, and put it in at the end in a way that doesn't make the game feel bloated or drawn out. Like you have a lot of flexibility on what you want to tackle and in what order. And, so Chrono Trigger is a really great, and then especially like if you are a crazy Chrono Trigger fan, like I've been my whole life, you can New Game Plus that and blast through it in less than 10 hours. If you're like over leveled, right? Like you're just going to be cruising through the early parts of the game. So,
and depending on what endings you want to get, you can actually just finish that right away.
You can finish it within the first 5 minutes. Yeah,
exactly. So there's so many options to kind of play around with. Like that's what makes Chrono Trigger so much fun. In terms of like, there's different ways to beat and experience the game in different ways. So it's like a fun little like, experience in that. So
just as a quick aside, I remember as a teenager, the first time I accidentally beat the game within literally 5 minutes of starting it. I was like, did I break something? Did I do something wrong? Because you go to the other teleporter at the beginning and you can go straight to Lavos on a New Game Plus. And I saw something flashing there. I'm like, what's that? I don't remember seeing that before. Is it a power tab? No, it's a portal to the demon monster destroying the world.
Actually, I did that my first playthrough. I didn't know what it was. And I was like, wait, where am I? What is this? I just beat this guy. Why is he here again? Oh, wait, what's this?
Yeah. No, that's the fun thing. I died.
I did not succeed.
No.
Yeah.
And doing that is the only way to get the developer's ending, which was a fun little surprise. That's true. Like, I felt like I'd broken the game, but then they were like, no, you didn't break it. This is just a fun little treat. Here you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good example. I love Chrono Trigger for that.
Yeah.
And we've gone on and on about Chrono Trigger in general. So we love it. We love it.
CT for life.
No.
But I think a lot of, RPGs of that era and slightly afterwards were pretty, on the shorter side too, when they don't expect you to grind for hours. And the nice things, but all the remasters happening is you could experience a lot of those older games without the grinding bloat.
Yeah, you go back to 32-bit and even more so 16-bit. A lot of these games, they're classics. People talk about them to this day, obviously. So if you're new to JRPGs and you are looking for a shorter experience, starting with something on the Super Nintendo, for example, is generally going to be a shorter experience. And a lot of that is because the teams that made these games were not thousands and thousands of people big. They were like 12 people, No,
exactly.
It's a different
they're
development
competing,
philosophy.
with different genres of games that were usually on the shorter side. So they, I guess, probably figured why would we, need to have a longer experience just because it's an RPG. Probably at the
Yeah,
time.
they didn't need to make it excessively longer just for the sake of competing for time, because like putting out a 30-hour game back in the 16-bit era, that was already an incredibly long game relative to everything else that was out there. So Final Fantasy VI might be 25 to 30 hours on your first playthrough, but that was
long,
insane. That was massive for the time,
because, like,
right? So it was just
it's
mind-boggling.
crazy. Because like those games, they actually had to have like it was pushed by story. So like you didn't have a lot of side like things to do that you see in modern gaming. You don't have like, you know, these add-on like side quests. You don't do a lot of like even like side things like, you know, like town building as much like outside of like maybe ActRaiser and things like that. But like like normal like JRPGs at the time just kind of stuck to the narrative, and they would have some little like small meandering here and there that you can do and like explore. But like it wasn't like that wasn't linear. The focus. Exactly. There were more linear experiences. So like a 30-hour, let's say like, you know, Final Fantasy VI being a 30-ish hour experience, that's 30 hours of like just story and like pushing you forward. So that was like a huge feat at the time.
Yep.
And I mean, if you look back and, you know, like even with the Final Fantasy IV and things like that, like those much shorter experiences. Like, I think that one's about like 20 hours or so.
Yeah.
But still, you know, great experience to get through.
For sure. And I think reliving those again with the remastered versions, with all the quality of life things you could put on it, you could definitely reduce your time spent on those borderline, you know, older games that maybe it took hours to grind, but now you get to wipe out those, you know, excessive hours and just get to the core story.
Yeah, especially if battling isn't your thing. Like, with the pixel remasters,
you right
you can
to the Tootsie Roll center of the Tootsie Pop, and that's great.
Yeah, you don't have to guess how many licks.
Exactly. And there's, you know, if you go a little bit later down the timeline, I just finished the Lunar remaster, the first one, in 16 hours, and I just felt like it was a nice experience for the time spent. Like I was so happy I didn't have to excessively grind or, you know, do archaic things that sometimes older JRPGs may make you do.
Yeah, it sounds like 16 hours sounds like, because it's, you know, even in the original version, that's a 20-hour game probably at max. So like having those quality of life features shaved off like a fifth of the kind of bloat, if you want to call it bloat, it's, you know, it's just kind of the way it was back then, right? Like it was
just repetitiveness.
Right.
Yeah.
But having that, like, the remastered philosophy of like putting in quality of life can get you to that core so much quicker. And I think that's fantastic, especially because we have so many games now. It was different in the 90s.
Yes.
Like there weren't a million games vying for your attention. And I'm somebody who's like very focused in like one or two genres. So I'm not getting every game, but there's still just like within my little niche, there's still way too many games for me to, you know, pay attention to.
Actually play.
Yeah. I can't keep up with all of them at this point.
No.
So if you can give me that like core experience as a short game and, you know, get me in, get me out and give me a good time, that's great. That's fantastic.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Because that's always been my issue with like modern game as well. Like let's say we've talked about it multiple times on the podcast in general. It's like, you know, when you get to these like 80 to like 120 hour, you know, games, by the time you get to like that 70, 80, 90 hour mark, you're hitting this like wall of like, I don't want to do any side stuff anymore. I just want to kind of like get done with this. It's like, you know, when I was at the end of like Metaphor Refantasio, it's like, I just like started to stop like that between that and like the Final Fantasy Rebirth, like all the side content like that, like really burnt me out by the end of it. Like where I was just at the point, I was like, I need to just like, maybe I'll come back and do some of this stuff later. But like, I just want to get to the ending. I want to get the story done with. And so like, that's like always been my issue with like the really long ones is that like, you do feel exhausted by the time you're done. And like some games are better at pacing
especially with a new game, because the thing that's different today compared to the 90s, one of the things is there is a discourse happening on social media all around you all the time. So if a game is super long and you are, you know, taking your time and enjoying all the side content and you're not mainlining the story, inevitably you're going to have some stuff spoiled for you in on your Twitter feed or wherever, Instagram. And
or even like a YouTube thumbnail.
Or a YouTube thing, exactly. Like there's like things that seem totally innocuous to the person making them is like, oh, that's a huge spoiler for me who hasn't gotten there. That's literally the reason I stopped doing the side content in Rebirth, side content, because I was like, I need to finish this game because I'm going to have what happens at the end of this game spoiled for me. That's going to happen if I don't just get through this. So I rushed from Gungaga on. I was just like, okay, I can't do any more side stuff. I just got to go. And that's like kind of a bummer because it's like I wanted to enjoy it, but that's another thing where it's like, if all of that stuff wasn't there, then I wouldn't feel like I'm missing anything because I wouldn't be.
Or you just go offline
or I just go offline and disconnect for like, I'm going to take 3 weeks and just like not check in. I need to like, I'm just going to use a dumb phone for 3 weeks.
Which is not easy to do.
It's so hard.
It's impossible as a content creator too.
It's literally impossible doing YouTube to avoid YouTube. So
yeah, exactly. Like that's your thing. So you kind of have to be around for that thing.
I do think though, there's been kind of, I think, a bad trajectory for some modern JRPGs where they feel like it has to be open world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that has just really added a lot of bloat and not a fun experience overall for a lot of them, because a lot of them are not interesting open worlds. They're more empty open worlds. So I think it's kind of a travesty. We've been kind of going down that path for a little bit.
Some of them are going the full-on open world route with that level of bloat, that kind of empty open world.
Yeah.
Some of them are taking what I would consider to be like kind of the worst aspects of an open world game and putting them into a less open experience. It makes me think of Final Fantasy 16, where there are a billion side quests in Final Fantasy 16. Like some of them have interesting stories, and I'm not trying to say that they all are awful. And they all kind of build into each other, which is neat, I like that, I guess. Yeah. But it's a JRPG-ish action game, whatever, that is kind of using the Western methodology for side quests, right? Like you have in a Fallout or a Elder Scrolls kind of thing, where it's like, here's your mini map with there's some blips here, and you want to go and talk to this person, and they're going to essentially, the blip is going to move somewhere else, and you have to go there, and maybe you kill a thing, or maybe you find a thing, and then you come back to the original blip. It's like it's
definitely from the MMO model, which
it's from the MMO model, and I would be honest, like that is one of the big reasons that I haven't really gotten into MMOs. I don't like that. Like that's not super fun for me, but I still do it out of like a compulsion to not want to miss something.
Yeah.
You know, you know, there are games that do a better job with it. I thought 7 Rebirth, it kind of used that blip on the map model, but I thought that the quests themselves were generally more interesting than the way like say 16 did it.
I didn't mind the Xenoblade way that they did that too.
Xenoblade. So there are some JRPGs that put a unique spin on that. But that is something that is, I don't know. It makes the game often, I think,
a bad design choice.
Yeah, because like I feel like with JRPGs, they were just a little like behind the curve of things. So like they saw things like, you know, Assassin's Creed and all these like open world games that were becoming popular during that period of, let's say, like the PS3 era and the Xbox 360 era. Like they were starting to see that, and then they're like, oh, well, we have to jump on that bandwagon. Like, and especially coming from like Final Fantasy 13 backlash of like that being just a linear experience and how much like everyone was angry about that. Exactly. Like mixed, like I think Square at that point was just like, well, we need to like, you know, pivot and then go like the complete opposite direction and do it like an Ubisoft game. It's like all the blips on the map, like everything is just like a checklist and all these different things. Like, you know, you remember, was it Final Fantasy 15?
15 like is basically an open, well, like half of the game is basically an open world RPG.
Exactly. So like it's the same concept. I mean, it's cool because you get to drive around it and like the car and everything like that makes it fun. But at the same time, you're still doing the things that are kind of like similar to, let's, you know, playing an Assassin's Creed game. Like you're going to these blips on the map. You're doing small little like, you know, side stuff that really don't matter usually. Like
there are people who like the checklist and no shade to them. But I think 100%. Some games it's okay to have that. Just when you start to have all the games to do that, it's just
we don't need
too much.
We don't need every game. We don't need every RPG to be a 90 plus hour, you know, experience with 20 hours of story and 70 hours of checklist gameplay.
Yeah. There's
At
like
least
a time and place for it. Like,
yeah, I think
I feel
it's
like
fine
if it
every
was
now and
like,
then. Like I enjoyed 15. I did most everything
Yeah.
in 15. Part of it was I had been
Platinum
waiting
that game.
since
Yeah.
I was literally a kid. Like when they showed the first trailer
Yeah.
of what became 15, I
10
was literally
years.
still a child, and then I was like, I was a full grown adult, married at that
Yeah.
point for like 12 years, owned a home. Like, never would have thought that I would have to wait that long for that game. So I was like very invested in enjoying the experience, but
Exactly.
I enjoyed that. But generally, it's not for me.
Yeah. I feel like I've got, it's like something that I think it's collectively, everyone has slowly become burnt out over.
There's exhaustion.
Every game being that similar style. And so like you're starting to see like outside of the JRPG realm, games becoming less open world and more like maybe open zone or
Open
more
zone,
narrative,
yep.
like, kind of like pushing you through these experiences.
Yeah.
And so like I think that's like more of a good take on it. You get that, like, it's a good balance. I think open zone is a good balance in terms
It's
of
more
if you're looking
tailored,
at it. Exactly. Like, and even the area is more interesting to explore. Because if you like, you can only make an open world so interesting, honestly.
Yeah, they could focus, all like instead of creating a game for like 10 years, they can craft your experience, and just put all the details where it needs to be, not everywhere where you might, wander off to.
Exactly. But I think we're definitely on a tangent about open world now.
Well, yeah, but I do think it
does
relates because
it does relate. Yeah.
This is kind of what gaming has been pushing towards, and short JRPGs are the balm for that sore, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's part of why, like you were saying, Emily, like between these giant games, play a nice short experience, and it just it's like a breath of fresh air, right? Even if you enjoyed the long game, it still feels nice to be like, this was breezy. Yeah. This was like super quick, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like some of the stories are more impactful because of the brevity that they're shared or told.
Yeah.
And they get to the point.
Yeah. It's kind of like, when you read a book, like you can get those like, 800, page books where
epic.
The author is really good at describing the chair that is in the room
the
that
table
the characters are experiencing, like this moment, and like they're very good at like detailing and making sure
different perspective.
Exactly. And so like there's that aspect, which is great in a lot of cases, like when you deal with like somebody like, I don't know, like Branden Sanderson or like things like that. But then you get like the more smaller, more contained books that you experience within like 200 to 300 pages. And you're like, that was like, paced really well. You got through it. There was no bloat, and you just feel like good after that sometimes too, because you can just move on to the next thing. It's like same concept.
Yeah. It's also like in TV, like sometimes be like self-contained episodes. Right? They just have the whole story in 30 minutes or an hour. You don't need to have all these overarching things where you have to, take notes of what's happening in this like 20 episode season.
Yeah. And we can, bring it back, as an anniversary aspect, like bringing it back to Lost, like that, got too long. Like there was too much bloat happening in there. They probably could have contained that into a more very like systematic, episodic way, streamlined. The narrative would have been more poignant and like much more like impactful across the way. And it's the same thing with like, I guess that was like that period of time where doing long serial.
It started
series.
the trend of that, like then Heroes came along, and
Heroes,
what's that
and
one with
like,
Josh Jackson? I'm not going to remember it, but they were all kind of cut from the same cloth, right? And actually the Lost example is interesting because it kind of, there's a parallel there too with games where the people that were making the show wanted to do that more condensed, streamlined format, but the standards of like network television were like, no, you need to do 24 episodes a year, and we need this to go on for as long as possible. Halfway through the run of the show, they were able to finally, because they were so successful, they were able to negotiate like, we're going to set an end date and we're going to just do like 13 episodes a season instead of 24 or whatever. So the last 3 years were like shorter seasons, driving towards a finale instead of this sprawling thing that's just is supposed to be a perpetual motion machine. Similarly with games, right? Like once developers and publishers started introducing these these bloated mechanics, the expectation for games became that they need to be these like self-running machines that you get into and you never get out of. Like you want to play this same game over and over and over again,
and just buy the DLC and all the cosmetics and loot
crates,
crates,
hack and keep spending money.
100%.
That's why I don't really like. One of the things I don't understand about some of these bloated games that don't have DLC, it's like, what is the motivator to keep somebody playing this game forever?
Well, they just want you to buy it. I think
they want you to buy
they're trying to appeal to people like, oh, look how much hours of experience you can have
exactly.
in this game. And they're like, oh, it's a good, amount of money. Like for that amount of money, I could have this many hours. That's a great deal.
I've had arguments with people, with random people online about that very thing where it's like, well, this game is 1,000 hours long. That's such a great game because it only cost me $60. It's like you're valuing your time all wrong. I just feel like you're valuing your time so strangely.
That brings me back to like, the idea of like you're spreading yourself too thin, because like you can't make every experience in the game, a AAA experience. Like there's going to be some shortcomings. Like, you take like, one of my favorite games, Xenogears, is like it's got a lot of like, you got the platforming bit that they had to like they threw in, and that wasn't a good experience because it wasn't a game tailored to platforming. And then they had like they added the fighting arena, which it's fun, but was it necessarily like, did they have to put the development time and money into that, or could they have put that somewhere else, like finish the game, like the second disc and things like that. And so like there's like aspects of that where you see like in this modern area where they're just like, well, let's put everything that we like about gaming in general, even if it's not JRPG-esque, we'll put like,
they'll appeal to someone, right?
Kart racing. Let's put, let's put a Pokemon-esque styled like monster catching thing. And I mean, RGG is really good at that too, because they somehow it works for them. Yeah. And I think that's just like the nature of people who enjoy those games. They know what they're getting. But like you see a lot of, these developers want to kind of throw in these kind of little things to make it kind of beef up the time that you spend in the game.
They're trying to cast a wider net.
Appeal.
Exactly. They're appealing to too many people
possible so that they can get as many people as they can.
Yeah.
But when you try to appeal to everyone, it just becomes a generic game.
It dilutes the whole experience in my mind. Like you're casting too wide of a net.
But
I don't know.
But I think so let's set the standard of like what we think is like a good short, length at least. And I think we were talking about it before. It's like in this day and age, I think probably like the cutoff point is 30 hours, like 30 and below is a good sweet spot. I mean, the lower, the better in terms of your experiences, but
well, I don't know about that. Like,
I'm saying like
5-hour game is not necessarily the best experience you could have.
It could be, but like I'm saying, like in terms of like if you want a quick experience, like if you're looking to come into something and you want to move on to the next big thing, but you want to do something short, like 30 might be a little harder on.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like if you're prioritizing the short length, then 30 does feel a little long. But I think in this day and age, right, like we were saying, 30 hours is nothing for most games. So 30 hours, I think, is a
books and stuff. Like it's it's TV shows.
Yeah.
So 30 hours is a decent cutoff to say, like
I
below
think
30 is up for consideration,
and that's from like a mainline perspective. Like there's still there's these games could be longer if you did, let's say, all the side and completionist kind of methods of things like that. So like this would just be like the main game, like you're playing through the game itself.
So something like Expedition 33.
Yep.
As an example, like I did some side stuff in Expedition 33. I did not do it all, and I came in under 30 hours. And that was just a very tight, obviously very well paced, well produced experience. And, everybody's raving about it. And I hope that other companies that are seeing the success of this game learn the right lessons from it.
Yeah.
Did you see that them and Square?
They got together.
They got together
and did a meeting of ideas.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Which is great. So I think the wrong lesson to take from Expedition 33 is that what turn-based games need is timed button presses. And
I
I
hope
feel
that's
like
not what they take.
I feel like we're gonna have a glut of games for a while where everything is timed button presses, because that's obviously the thing, right? That's what did it. That's what made it so successful.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Like, it's fine. It can be a decent thing.
On a separate note,
But
like Sea of Stars was the big indie darling, of the last few years.
It's true.
That's
And it's
also
time.
time presses.
Timed button presses. Yep.
it's a little different. Well, I guess but like I feel like
It's different, but it's still similar.
Yeah, it's a time button presses where I think Expedition
You do
33 like
blocks.
does like force you. Like
You have to. Well, I don't know about the new update of making it a little
That's
bit
true,
easier,
yeah.
but before you had to do it.
yeah, like if you didn't do it, you'd get wrecked pretty easily.
You can't make progress, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, I feel like button presses is just kind of like, but I wonder like with that, the whole Penny Blood situation, that being also on the radar and does use that whole kind of old school like Shadow Hearts. Button pressing mechanic. Like, I wonder if like this resurgence might help them in a way. Find a publisher. Like, I don't know.
If that's a good that can come out of that, then I'm all for that.
I'm all for it.
I hope so.
I hope so. I really want that to succeed.
I really think that the things that helped make Expedition 33 successful were its brevity, for one. Like, it is the least bloated big experience of a game that I've played in I don't know how long.
Exactly.
It's been ages.
Especially if you follow the lights.
If you follow,
yeah.
If you just mainline the story, and that's the nice thing about it too. Like, similar to Chrono Trigger, if you just follow the main story and you don't want to mess around with any of the side stuff, you still had an incredible experience playing the game.
Exactly.
It's very accomplished.
The other stuff is great. But it's just gravy. Like, it's not.
Oh yeah,
it's not necessary, but it's fine
you.
if you want to do it. But they don't force you to do it, and
like
the
Torna
experience
does
is
with
solid.
your community stuff.
Like what?
I hate that so much.
To Torna, the Golden Country.
Oh yeah,
they force you to do X amount of side quests before you
do
can
90% of the side quests, or you can't finish the game. It's like, then that's not a side quest, guys.
That drove me nuts. I hated that so much.
I was going to do it anyway, but I was like, this is ridiculous.
I know. I was like, don't gate me. I want to see what happens next.
My personality is going to be like, I don't want to do it now.
Yeah.
You don't force me to do this.
Yeah. Now I'm oppositionally defiant. I'm not going to do it because you told me to.
Defiant of this.
Even though it's a nice 25-hour or less experience. I don't like the forced side quests either.
That's true.
I feel like that
is a
does
nice
hurt it.
Short experience.
It would otherwise be a contender, because I really liked every other aspect of that game.
Yeah.
But
the combat was fun. The exploration. I liked the characters.
The characters, like seeing the story from that. Yeah. Like,
their perspectives are interesting.
The forced side quest stuff really just left a sour taste, and like, it wouldn't make a list like this for me because of that. So it's like, you see what the bloat can do.
I would say if you're someone who likes to 100% your games, it's perfect for you, because you're going to do it anyway.
It's a great short RPG if you love to 100%. If you like the checklist style gameplay, and you know, I feel like in the past we've kind of said that derisively, but it's fine. Like, if you like that kind of thing, it's fine.
I like it in Xenoblade personally. Like, that clicks with my brain. I don't feel like it's a chore to do, because I just like the world and characters so much. But I can see how it could be definitely a detriment to other people who are less enthused by those
Xenoblade
aspects.
does a great job with it, though, where they make the checklist items compelling and interesting in a way that a lot of games with that sort of gameplay just don't do.
Yeah, don't try.
I agree.
Yeah. So Torna, if you like that sort of gameplay, that sort of kind of checklisty type stuff,
I like it.
It's good. And I would say I even enjoyed it. I just, like, it wouldn't make a list of my favorite short RPGs because of that stuff that felt kind of.
I would recommend it if you haven't played the base game.
Certainly play 2 first.
Which is 100 hours probably, or 80 to 100 hours.
So maybe it's a hard sell for a short list if you've got to play a 120-hour game before.
Yeah, so that's not ideal for a short list.
But kind of jumping back to the Expedition 33 of it all, and the whole indie. I mean, they're not indie, but like, you know, they're not a big studio.
No,
not AAA.
Going from that angle, like, a lot of indie RPGs in that kind of JRPG genre space have been filling this need that the AAA studios have just not been willing to. So you have games like Cosmic Star Heroine, which is, you know, very Chrono Trigger inspired, cool, like sci-fi sort of world. interesting characters. Like the combat system is really unique in that game too. But it's like, probably 12, 15 hours. It's very breezy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys played that one.
I haven't. I want to, but
it's good.
then I didn't get the limited run physical edition. I was like, oh.
I think I have it on Vita physically, but I have it on digital for like everything else for some reason. I kept buying it. It's like I probably don't need it. Every time it'd be on sale, it'd be on sale for like $2. And I'm like, sure, I'll throw them a couple bucks. Like they make good stuff. So yeah, I have it on every console, but physically I think I have it on Vita. But yeah, it's a really cool, like brisk experience, and you can get in and get out. Zeboyd games in general, that makes that like they're one that does a really good job with these like brief experiences. They often are like, they don't take themselves super seriously. Like they have fun with it. Like they have the Cthulhu series of games, like Cthulhu Saves the World and Cthulhu Saves Christmas, I think. So like they're funny, they're quirky, and they're short, and that's great.
Yeah. Trying to think of a really good area. One thing I think, I was talking about is to kind of move to like maybe action stuff is like ease games.
Oh yeah.
And I think we recently had an episode about ease in general. And those games you can play through pretty quickly, especially if you're playing, let's say, like, the ease 1 and 2, ease origins and things like that. Like you can get through those, fairly quickly. Like I would say
most are under 30 hours pre-8.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pre-8. And even like ease 10, if you want to mainline that, it's
true.
Under 30
yeah,
hours.
I feel like 10 was not as long as 8 and 9, at least.
Well, we got Nordics around the corner.
The Proud Nordics coming, yeah.
So
that's true. That's going to add a little bit more to that.
Exactly.
But like, especially if you play in like Oath of Felghana and things like that, that's out there. It's like about a 10-hour experience if you want to get through it. So like, those are just fun little, that plus like a great soundtrack, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. I know we were talking about in that episode how you probably shouldn't start with Ease Origins until you've played like 1 and 2, right?
1 and 2, yeah.
But I played it before those, and I thought it was still fun.
It's fine, yeah. It doesn't. I mean, East has never been like a super story focused.
Yeah.
I mean, until 8, 9, and 10 have been a lot more story focused than all of the previous games combined, really. So yeah, if you play Ease Origin first, that's fine. And Ease Origin is a great, like again, short but like really tight, solid action RPG, and it actually had a way better story than I expected it to. Because I was like, oh, this game just takes place in this one tower, like that's going to be kind of dull. You're not going to have the sort of exploration you're used to. But actually, it's pretty compelling. Like I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, and the replayability about that as well. It's like in terms
playing
of like
through different characters.
Yeah. So like you have a lot of different experiences you can have with that game, and you can play it multiple times. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
For me, just Ease in general.
I think so. And if we go back to indies, I know we have like a whole long list outside of Cosmic Star Heroines and similar ones. Like I liked Anna Mutation.
Anna Mutation.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not exactly like a JRPG, but it has a lot of RPG elements where I kind of included it. And it has a compelling story. It's interesting. And I like the combat.
Like if you are a renegade like I am, and you kind of consider Castlevania Symphony of the Night a JRPG, which I kind of do, I think Anno Mutation is in that mold, right?
Yeah.
It's not exactly a Metroidvania in that same way, but the gameplay is very reminiscent of that, and it does check a lot of the RPG boxes. And it's like I think I played that game in one day. It was a long day, like it was like a 12-hour day of me just playing that game. But I sat down, I came down to my basement in the morning, and it was dark out before I was done. So I just played. I didn't want to stop. Like it was very good.
Yeah. It's very compelling.
So highly recommended if you like that kind of side-scrolling action RPG sort of thing.
And then from like an indie perspective, there was one that if you're into like more of the sci-fi bit, it's called Jack Move.
Tell me a bit more about that one, because you mentioned that before, but I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's just like a very contained, like 6 or so hour experience, but you play as like this, this main girl who's like going through this like kind of like, cyberpunk-esque world. And there's like, I don't remember everything from the narrative because last time I played it was probably when it came out. But it does have like a very like a turn-based style battle system, and it is a very fun and easy to like just play in one sitting if you wanted to.
Now that I'm thinking about it more, I feel like maybe I saw a YouTuber cover it briefly in a video. I want to say it was like Chicken Fillets covered it in a video.
Maybe.
I think he has. I think Taylor on the Gaming Shelf has talked about it a lot.
I think he mentioned it before in a video. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that.
Okay. Yeah, I can kind of picture it now.
Yeah. But that one I think is a really good like contender for just like, something like even like 6 hours is very short. So it's a very short experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Get in, get out. Love it.
But you can probably, it's a game that you can also pick up for, a couple dollars at this point on sale pretty often. It's been around a while, and I think there was a physical, but I'm not sure if it's still available anymore physically.
There was a physical.
I think so. I'm trying to remember.
Which that low cost to short time thing is good for the people who like really tie their literal physical hours of playtime to like a monetary value. People are like, I don't want to spend $60 on a game that's less than 100 hours because that's a bad value.
Yeah.
Whereas like I don't feel that way at all. I will pay $60 for a 10-hour game if it's a really good game.
Amazing 10 hours.
Yeah, of course I will pay $60 for that.
It's like
I would pay more. Don't tell
movies,
the publishers because they will jack the price
don't
up.
let them know.
But I would pay more. I would pay more than $60 for an incredible 10-hour experience. I'm paying for I'm paying for the highs, I guess, and not the lows. There's a lot of lows in a 120-hour game typically.
Yeah, and I take it back. I don't think there is a physical for this game.
I don't think there was. Yeah. So. Like when it comes to some physicals, like I think when you have really short experiences like that, maybe not having it by itself, but like in a collection, it makes more sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Just from that kind of standpoint. But another one I would recommend that's on the shorter side is Cat Quest. All those are very short.
Yeah.
And if you like co-op experiences, it's one of the only JRPGs you could do, remote co-op with.
Yeah.
Is the first one co-op as well?
No,
or did that
the
start
first
with
one's
two?
not, but the second and third.
Second and third are okay. Yeah, because my wife was interested potentially in playing those, and I also am, but mostly just to play with her. So we'll have to.
All the cat puns, they're so great.
Yeah.
And they're dog
that's
puns
great
too now.
I support that wholeheartedly.
I love puns in general, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And I did pick it up the other week because I was like, it was on sale and digitally, and I was like, I should get that. And I was like, Emily,
did you get the triple pack?
I think it was I just picked up like it was like a few bucks.
Okay.
For the digital version of it, and if I like it enough, I'll probably pick up the physical. But I wanted to test it out and see how much I liked it.
Makes sense.
For a game with very different avant-garde even gameplay in this space, in the indie space, Undertale is absolutely a classic. Like
that's true.
It should be. I think everybody should try to play it at some point. It is just a strangely moving experience. It's one of the few like games with a silent protagonist where I was like, it's super emotionally wrapped up in the story. And like the characters, the other characters you meet are just so compelling and realistic, despite being like cartoon monsters. Everybody feels very real. It feels like sometimes kind of raw. And there's some heavy stuff that happens in that game that is alluded to or you actually experience. And even beyond that, it's telling, there's kind of weaving this meta narrative where the things you choose to do in the game influence not just how the story plays out, but like your literal I don't know how to say this without spoiling it, so I'll just say like your literal experience with the game. There are things you can do that objectively I think kind of ruin the experience if you make the choice to do so. You have to consciously make the choice to do so, but it's just so, I don't know, it hits on so many things. The gameplay, it's random encounters, turn-based battle. But you can play it pretty straight with like attacking enemies and timed button presses and things like that. Or you can play the pacifist route where you try to negotiate with every enemy. So every random battle, you're basically trying to do certain things, giving enemies things or talking to them, complimenting them, insulting them. Like there's a whole variety of different things you need to do. It kind of is reminiscent of the Shin Megami Tensei games, like the demon negotiation, or in Persona 5, where you're negotiating with the demons to try to get them to join you. It's similar to that, where you're like trying to figure out what they want so that you can end the battle without fighting. And then when enemies attack you, it becomes a sort of a bullet hell experience where you have to dodge their attacks in a very bullet hell-esque setup. So, it's super interesting. It's like one of the few games that my wife has played through. Like she rolled credits on Undertale, which I was very proud of. But she did the pacifist route. She's like, I don't want to fight. She hates fighting in games. She wishes that all games would give her an option to not fight. So Undertale was perfect. It was hard because playing a pacifist in Undertale is supposed to be hard. It's the hard way of playing the game. But she did it, and I was very proud.
It's an incredible game. Along that same vine of like emotional experiences, Omori, oh my gosh, is another one that's kind of similar in that sense. It's like Earthbound if it was like even darker, because Earthbound is like deceptively dark, but Omori is not even hiding it. It's like
Omori is just
they wear it on their sleeves.
It's just straight up dark. It is a very it's a hard one to get through for a lot of people. So it's like very much like emotionally, like there's a lot of trigger warnings. Like there's a lot of things that like if you cannot handle certain types of like
themes,
it's not a good one for you.
It's heavy.
It is very heavy. So, but if you are okay with getting through those themes, it is an incredible experience. And there's like before you played it and there's like an after you played it, like type of person you are kind of situation. It's like those who finish it and those who haven't. It really kind of changes, like,
But I think
your brain
overall,
chemistry.
like on the indie scene though, like most our indie RPGs are like 20, 30 hours at max.
Exactly.
There are some exceptions probably, but most of them are definitely well under 30 hours. So I think it definitely fits the short experience.
And a lot of that is because they're sort of mirroring the development process of older 16 and 32-bit, well, 16 primarily, 16-bit JRPGs, where they didn't have, again, teams of thousands of people producing content for the game. They had a core team of maybe 20 people making this, and an indie might even have less than that, right? And there's a lot of tools now that make it easier, so you can develop a game either as a solo developer or with a team of 3 or 4 or 5 people in ways that you just couldn't before. But because you're such a small team, making a game with 100 hours of compelling content is probably not going to be super doable,
because you're also not going to get paid until that game comes out.
You're not getting paid until the game comes out.
So like they're putting a lot on the line to like, their lives and their time and everything like that. So like they want to contain that experience into like a more like, I guess, understandable amount of time where that way they can get it out and into the public, have it actually bring in some sort of revenue for them as well. So it's like a win-win kind of situation for them. It's like so that way they're not like wasting too much time on bloat. They don't usually have to think about that. They're just like very much contained.
They can't afford to do it. That's kind of why that's another reason why I wish people would stop equating time, like gameplay time, to value. Because a lot of these indie developers, they price their games pretty cheaply because of that pervasive idea that game length equals value. And so they're like, well, my game is only 5 hours long. I can't charge more than $10. Certainly, I might even need to charge less. But it's like they absolutely should be able to charge more if it's a good experience. They
Especially
really
the
should
time
be
they
able
put
to.
into making it.
So much time.
That's a lot of work.
Like let's say it's like 20 people working on this game, and they're spending a ton of hours. Like it's a lot of money in the cost of time in general, and probably like the cost of like things that they need to purchase to build these games out and do all this, a lot of the like the technology that they need, the advertising, the marketing aspect to that,
to
like,
have a chance of even being noticed, right? In
exactly
this sea of games.
So like it's I don't mind, like I don't see there a problem for like especially indie developers to charge what they think is best for them to stay afloat. Like, you know, at the end of the day, they need to, you know, put food on the table for their families and things like that, whatever they're dealing with. And also continue to give us great experiences. So like, you know, it's our job there to like help support developers that we think do make great experiences.
Right.
And so like yeah.
And I 100% agree, but you know, the problem remains that if they charge what it's actually worth, people aren't going to buy it. So they're creating a loop of disaster.
Exactly. There's like a balance to it. They got to figure it out.
I implore the audience, like consider more than just gameplay time as the key driver of what you consider to be value in a game. You know, I know this genre typically is considered to be one of the longer genres of games, and they often are, especially in the AAA space. But like, that's, I don't know. I hope that we've been able to say some things that maybe convince you that like time is not the only or even the most important aspect of what makes a game valuable.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure some people will counter, like, you know, they're limited on funds. They can only buy so many things. So it maybe make more sense for them to buy something longer. But there are other ways to play games. Like the library has so many, you know, ways to experience games nowadays.
Yeah. Like if there's a game that I'm not sure on, and especially not like if it's not a JRPG, like I'll go rent it from the library, give it a shot, and then, you know, buy it down the line if I really loved it and I want to support it. Then like the library is a perfect place. People don't realize how much.
I think people don't utilize it or they don't realize.
A lot of
new games are available there.
Yeah, exactly. Like they get all the new games. And it's very easy to just like pick up like whatever game you want to try.
And support your library by showing you're using it.
Exactly.
Yeah, use the library, use a service like GameFly, right? That's like $15 a month. Use Xbox Game Pass if you want to have access to extremely long games for a low cost, right? Like $15, $20 a month, whatever it is now.
It adds up with subscription service, I will say.
You what?
Yeah.
Subscription services do add up.
Yeah.
They do, but you also don't have to subscribe in perpetuity, right? Like if you want to play, I heard it was on the on Pat Contry's podcast recently. Ian was talking about how he subscribed to Xbox Game Pass for 4 months, and he played every game on there that he wanted to play, had his maximum amount of experience and fun, paid $60, and then discontinued, and he was satisfied. So like if you want to go the subscription route to play some of these bigger games so that you have money to invest in better experiences that might be shorter, just, you know, subscribe for a period of time and play the games you want and then get out. I'd say enjoy that while you can.
Yeah.
Especially if you have time to actually, you know, play all the games you want.
Yeah, exactly.
For like, that limited time frame.
Right.
If that fits your schedule and other things like that.
That's I think it would if you're the sort of person that is like valuing a long experience for the value, right? Considering that a value proposition, like paying $15 for a month of gameplay of a particular game that you are investing a lot of time in, that's a fantastic value if that's how you consider value, right?
Yeah.
And then you have more money, hopefully, I would assume, for tighter, more, you know, enriching, shorter experiences. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Or there's, you know, you can always wait for sales if you know, their MSRP's too high for what you think the value is. Like,
we're
not saying you have to buy games at full price necessarily. Like,
exactly.
You don't. Yeah. I mean, I encourage people especially for an indie game, if you can afford to buy it at full price, that really helps.
I think the key thing is if you could afford it. So but
especially like the AAA games, if you are that sort of, you're looking for that longer experience, getting a game on sale is great. Whether it's on Steam or while physical media still exists, getting a physical, you know, game. And that's also like, you know, once physical media goes away, the option of like getting games from the library kind of goes away too.
It does.
So hopefully,
unless, you know, they make some sort of, you know, how they have the ebook stuff.
Oh,
like
the Kindle borrowing or whatever.
The Kindle borrowing stuff. It might do that for games, but I kind of doubt it. I don't think that's going to have enough funding.
I don't know.
For people to experience it.
I don't see EA being like, yeah, sure, we'll let you.
We'll let you do that.
I can only see this as long as games, they stop, you know, letting you buy individual games, and it's all going to be a subscription service like Netflix.
If it's all, if it's all a Xbox Game Pass style thing in the future, then that's probably it. Then that's how you will play games.
And they'll take away whatever games they want anytime.
Right.
Yeah.
And you won't, you'll have to, you know, we talk about Xbox Game Pass almost like it's this monolithic thing, because it kind of is. I mean, PlayStation has one too, technically. Yeah. But it doesn't get very much attention. But, you know, in the future, we're not just going to have one or two game streaming platforms. There's going to be 50 of them. And if you want to play all the games, you're going to have to subscribe to 50 different. Like no one service is going to have all the games, right? When Netflix started,
cutting the cable, you know,
exactly. So when Netflix started, like they had basically everything because there was nobody else. And then all of a sudden everybody was like, oh, there's money to be made here. So we're all going to create our own. So now there's like 500 subscription services. So if you want access to everything, that's where you're going to be spending a lot of money.
Cable. We're back to
You're basically back to cable, only more expensive and less convenient. So
But you have to now log into each and every one of them individually rather than having them in one place.
For those who think that's not going to happen to games, like if you look at gaming as a whole, like an industry, it's one of the highest like profitable industries.
Right. People that think it's not going to happen, it is happening. like history repeats itself. You can go back not even that long ago. I think most people listening to this podcast were alive and conscious when Netflix was starting up. Right. So you can see this happening over and over. A little bit older, like the music industry went through it a little bit before then. It's, you know, it's happening. And I, you know, hopefully, you know, there will still be physical games for hopefully forever. You know, like if you look at the movie industry, for example, they've gone digital. But I can still buy a Blu-ray of a movie, right? Like that's a thing I can do. And in music, I can still buy a CD. Vinyl's making a comeback, right? Like I can get the oldest type of music, physical tapes. Cassette tapes are making a comeback. So hopefully the same sort of thing will happen with video games. People will flirt with the idea of streaming for a while, but then everybody will be like, oh, you know what was nice though? When we could own it. That was cool, right? And then we
could play it whenever we want.
It's actually kind of funny, like with the recent things that are happening in the music industry for like Spotify and things like that, like and then they're requiring like IDs to log in and do things like that. There's a lot of people online now that are starting to try to go back to like finding their old iPods and things like that to like go back to the way it was before everything became like a streaming.
And reduce, you know, censorship.
Exactly. So like everyone's kind of like it's interesting because like, you know, my TikTok feed has turned into like a lot of people just like trying to show off their like physical music things or their like new setup for like new like audio players that they can just buy albums and put on there, like, or like, you know, rip albums, rip CDs and things like that, put them on there and just have a more meaningful way to consume like media in that way. And so
what a novel idea.
I know, it's crazy. But it's interesting to see like that shift back to that kind of like mentality.
Things go in cycles. Like, I think the longer we live, we're just going to see more patterns.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of cycles, we have completed our first cycle around the sun as a podcast. Can you believe it?
We're 1 year older.
We are.
I mean, by the time this comes out, it'll be the end of our first year. We will have put out an episode of the JRPG Pursuit every week without fail, right? We didn't miss a week. We weren't even late. I think technically one of audio version of the podcast on Spotify went up like 12 hours late because I screwed up.
We didn't.
But they all came out they all came out weekly.
They all came out the same, like every week.
Yeah.
On the Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. And our intention, I think, is to keep that going. We don't necessarily feel like we need to slow it down. We've added a lot more stuff, obviously, you know, the after show for the pursuer level members. So we plan to keep that going as well. We're thinking about maybe other things that we could do.
Like book clubs.
Book club type thing.
Other sort of interactive things.
For members. So like, let us know if you have any ideas or thoughts about, some other stuff you'd like to see us do. I think we're open to that for sure.
And we want to travel more, to do panels. We have one actually.
Got one coming up at the end of August at PAX West.
We'll be at PAX West. So that'll be our third one. And I think we've really enjoyed all the panels that we've done across the three, across the two that we've done so far, and the third one coming up.
Yeah.
And something that it's great to come out and see you guys and those of you who find us through those methods. It's just fun to be there with you, and then also get to talk to you afterwards and things like that. It's a fun experience.
It's a great way to connect, I think, with like-minded people who love video games.
Exactly. And so we want to continue doing that into, next year as well. So, stay tuned for a lot of announcements from us as we start to figure out where we'll end up.
And another thing is if you are interested in having us come out to a particular convention or event or whatever, reach out to us, but also to the people that plan those conventions and let them know that you would like to see us. That gets, because the average convention operator is not going to know every content creator or podcast or whatever out there. So they may not have heard of us. So if you let them know, they might say, oh sure, we'd like to invite them to come. And that makes it much more viable for us to do it, so that it's a complicated process setting up a panel. So if we have somebody reaching out to us, that really kind of helps grease the wheels.
Exactly.
So
it's a long process to
let us know if you'd like us to come out to a place, and we are very happy to consider it.
Exactly.
Sure. But in terms of our weekly show, I feel like we've kind of had it evolve over time, right?
I think
how
so.
we started with our because when we first started, right, we had to batch a bunch of things because I was leaving for a trip.
The first
for a month and a half.
we didn't have any feedback for the first several episodes because we made them all. We had 5 or 6 episodes. I don't know how many it was.
I think it was 6.
We did a bunch.
6?
Yeah, that was.
So we recorded 6 episodes over 2 weeks. I think we were all sick of seeing each other.
It was a lot. And a lot of, things we were learning with the audio and how to, present our episodes, because we were all interested in doing a topical type of podcast show.
Yeah.
But we also didn't know how to incorporate, pickups and games we're playing along the way.
Exactly. That was something that we're really intentional about from the beginning was, I think we each have JRPG centric podcasts that we listen to that cover things like the news and upcoming games and stuff like that. So we decided kind of consciously from the beginning, it's we're not going to necessarily do that. We're just going to do topical type stuff, so that kind of differentiates us a little bit from some of the other shows.
And if the news is relevant to the topic.
Occasionally there are events, right, that are big and are relevant to what we're doing, so that will come up. But just doing the more topical approach felt like it would be easier, especially for people that discover the show down the road. Evergreen. One of the things that I loved personally was I discovered the Legacy Music Hour podcast, which is just a super long running. It's been running for 10 or 11, 12 years now, of just 8 and 16-bit video game music, where they talk about it, they play it. It's great. I discovered it 8 years into it existing. So then I got to go back and just listen to 8 years worth of this podcast before I caught up. It took me 2 years to catch up, but that was a lot of fun. So I was it'd be cool if we could do a show where, you don't feel you feel like you can do that, right? We're just kind of doing a topical show. So if you want to go back, the topic is still relevant and whatnot. So you can go back and kind of binge through. And we've heard people say that they had found the show and then enjoyed going back and binging through the whole thing, which is I relate to that so strongly. So
no, exactly. That's my favorite way to consume podcasts, especially if I find it later on.
Yes.
It's I love going back and just listening through their just backlog of everything they're talking about. And that's kind of like Branden said, that's exactly kind of what we're trying to, incorporate in how we do things here is keeping the topics just generalized to like specific areas of what we love about JRPGs and things like that. So we do, incorporate some aspects of like, what's going on in the world, in the industry, but it's not you're going to shy away from the actual like meat and bones of the topic.
And we don't also like contain ourselves just to JRPGs. Like we talk about other games too, which is great. We talk about collecting and playing. Like
that was another conscious thing from the beginning, right? Is like we're all collectors to varying degrees. So like making physical collecting a part of the show was kind of and honestly, JRPGs as a genre, I think probably it's safe to say one of the most collected genres of game. Like there are some people that obviously collect all games, and that's cool, that's its own thing, but like if you are a specific genre collector, I think a lot of people I think
it's popular,
would collect.
It's a very
JRPGs.
popular.
They tend to be the harder, more sought after games, harder to find, so it made sense to kind of incorporate that. So I think originally our plan was to kind of do 50-50 collecting and JRPG focus. I feel like it's more like been like 75% JRPG, 25% collecting. If, you look back at the
less, but that's
maybe a little less, but like like the looking at the subjects of the different episodes. But that's not to say that we won't necessarily try to balance that out a little bit more going forward.
For sure. And we've also teased about maybe doing more live content. Like we have done a few different gameplay streams, but I think because especially Dallah and I have been doing that more on our solo YouTube channels. We're thinking that maybe doing more kind of talk show live streams in this second season, if you will, might be exciting. To do. Not all the time, but like I think periodically that could be fun.
Yeah, it's something that we can do. That's also kind of we can react with the chat as well, which I think would be fun.
Right.
And that can kind of help us weave our conversation. And it will be like more supplemental. We still have our episodes come out.
I think we want to keep the show like the topical show what it is.
Exactly.
And then have additional stuff where we're live, because I know some podcasts record live and they work in audience participation throughout the actual show. I think for now, at least, we want to keep the show what it is, and then have these extra things where we're engaging. Having. I
think
live.
with our schedule, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we all have various responsibilities outside of the podcast, and even
different
within
time zones,
even within YouTube, different time zones. So there's a whole lot of factors that make more sense to keep going with this route, and then add some things on.
And I think also having the opportunity to do supplemental like live things every once in a while, we can react to news things or like the exciting JRPGs we're all excited for, and talk about with chat.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been enjoying doing like whenever there's been like directs or the game the game reacting awards together and things like that. Like those are things that like I never really cared to watch, but I'd like watch it by myself, but it like wouldn't never like be interesting.
It's not as fun.
Yeah, like it's not as fun as like us kind of hanging out and then like reacting and interacting.
It's more fun too than just maybe individually if we were to react. That's less fun,
I realized that was good, because like when we did I think the Game Awards was the first time we streamed, right?
Yeah. I think so.
And I think we were all kind of like, I mean, the Game Awards, like they're not that great. Like I'll usually, if I watch them,
new stuff.
Yeah, it's like if I watch them, I'll have them kind of on in the background, and I'll be doing something else and just kind of like checking in every now and then. But doing it with the three of us and like reacting to just to the chat and stuff as we went, that was like a lot of fun. I was like, okay, I see how this could be. I see how this could be good.
Exactly, and then like Emma and I got our chops. Like we did a lot of that while Branden was, off gallivanting in Japan.
Yeah, still bitter about that. Still bitter about that.
We had your picture. We had your picture in the.
We were for one of them.
Yeah,
for one of them. And then it was like, then I was just gone after that.
Yeah, after that we were just like, no,
I was replaced.
You were replaced. No, but it's just fun. I think it's fun experiences. I think we're going to continue to do that in this coming year. Whenever we see something.
The most recent Nintendo partner direct because it was at 6 a.m. my time.
It was super early for Emily and
a game key card.
Yeah,
and it was all going to be game key card stuff, and I don't know.
Like
there are some good
probably-
games. I'm excited about Monster Hunter Stories 3. I'm excited about the
Yes.
Square Enix stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
That's
some
it,
things like
if
yeah,
those are available on any other console, I will get them on any other console because I
They
Yep.
are. All of those are.
not Monster Hunter Stories though, right? That's
It
Switch
is.
exclusive. Is it really?
It's not a Switch exclusive.
But it's not on
It's going to be on
PS5.
PlayStation.
It's on
It'll be
PlayStation?
PS5.
Okay, cool. Then I'll get it on PlayStation.
Monster Hunter Stories 2 is.
No, it's not.
It is.
No.
You didn't see the chat how someone has a PAL version of the PS4 copy?
Monster Hunter Stories 2 PlayStation.
There's only a PAL physical copy.
Oh, there's only a PAL
for
physical.
Asian,
Okay.
but it's still available.
Oh, okay.
It's just not North American for whatever reason.
Okay.
I'm trying to see.
Anyway.
Interesting.
Did they
Well, I already have it on
officially
Switch,
announce
so it's fine. But
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
I'm trying to see if it's like if there's any official announcement of it being cross PlayStation right now.
They said it'll be available on PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
okay. Well,
don't
then
worry.
hey, then I have a way to play it.
Yeah, because that's how I'm gonna buy like Elliot.
Yeah, I
such.
think I'm gonna have to as well. Maybe
just
Octopath
because
Traveler 0, I could probably get away with the Switch copy because I don't think it's going to be that,
I don't understand why
graphically
they're
intensive or
like, there's like no upgrade path to Switch 2. It's like, but it's just a Switch game. Like it's not, they're
Yeah.
not doing anything on there that they need the Switch 2 for.
People claim the architecture is different, and that's why they made 2 different versions. But I don't know. Why would they go through the trouble
Yeah.
of doing that, especially when there's upgrade path has become the norm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't get
Something smells fishy about that. But anyway,
I think they're trying to
Um,
force purchasing specific ones. if you
that's
want
neither
it.
here nor there.
But anyways,
Specifics, but yeah. What were we saying?
If there comes like at some point there's going to be an official Nintendo Direct that is not
Yeah,
a partner direct. I think we'll
I
do
think
something like
soon,
that.
honestly.
Yeah.
I think in the next month or 2.
Yeah, well, they have to at some point show off like a release date for Metroid Prime
The
4.
Metroid.
Because that's been sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They didn't tell us a date for Hyrule Warriors. The
oh, that's true.
whatever,
Yeah, because like what? Like,
imprisonment.
yeah, because that just says I forgot
Winter.
What winter. Yeah,
Just
And
winter.
and Metroid is supposed to come out sometime in November.
They have, Subway, posters up saying soon.
I don't know what's going on with that. That's a little bit
I
weird,
don't know
but
either.
yeah, it's a bit random. But I don't know. Nintendo does things that Nintendo does. I can't make sense of it half the time.
Yeah.
The way they announce things is always like very random and
The
sporadic.
Kirby Air Ride, that's supposed to be soon.
Soon. But anyways, like we'll react
anyway,
to that.
let's save that stuff for the after show. Let's
Let's do that.
so this year has been great. I think it's been
I think
been
we've learned
solid.
a lot. And I think we've had a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
it's been great connecting with, people, our viewers, as well
Mm-hmm.
as our members.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of great guests along the way this year as well.
Oh, yeah. I got
so-
to connect with more people that way.
Exactly. We
Mm-hmm.
got to bring in people from different areas of YouTube and otherwise, and we'll continue to do that and also bring people from
Mm-hmm.
either like the industry and things that we're interested in as well. So you'll see a lot more of that as we get into the next year, or the next
We do
season,
have
whatever we call it. We have some
We
things
do have a
already
couple
on the
of industry type interviews lined up. Scheduling is underway for those sorts of things. So
Now that
Exactly.
our year is paid off, right?
yeah,
Establishing ourselves as a podcast.
we did it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Able to get more of these
there's a
contacts, which
backlog
is
of
cool.
stuff people can look at to see that we're not just we're not goofing around here. All right, we're serious.
well, we're kind of goofing around, but
And
we
we're
gotta
always
see.
goofing
We be
around. but
professionals.
We're
but
professional goofing.
Fun
Sometimes.
professionals.
Yeah,
Fun professionals.
fun professionals.
Fun professionals. Oh God.
I
With
hate
that,
myself. Okay, on that note.
with that, thanks everybody for a fantastic first year of the JRPG
Yes.
pursuit. Feels crazy to say it, but wow.
I know.
Um,
let us know in the comments like what else you guys would like to see us.
what would you like to
from
see us do?
Yeah,
Tell
like
us.
what other things that you guys are interested.
And
throw
when
that
did
in
you
the-
start watching us?
Oh yeah, let us
Exactly.
know.
And what's your
when you
favorite-
found us? What was the?
What's
how
your
did you
favorite
find us?
episode? What's your
Yeah.
favorite video that we've done so far? Or is there anything you want us to do more of that you've watched and you're like, we need an episode
Bring
2.
this back.
Yeah, like we need the second version of this. So yeah, just let us know. We love all the feedback. It's just helps us grow as who we are, and this helps us grow in this podcast in general. Yeah, It's been great.
Been great. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Until next week, see you later.
Bye. Take care.